All right, I'm gonna make some pickled green beans here. I'm live, so anything could happen, you guys. Some kids could start screaming or who knows what. Stella is sleeping, so I'm gonna try to do this quickly and be done before she wakes up. So I just cut all the ends off my green beans. So I got all my green beans here. Sorry. Okay, so I picked a couple of, these are just garden salsa peppers. I'm going to put these in with the green beans. I'm going to leave them whole, but I'm going to cut off like the very tip and the top just so that they can kind of get their juices out there. And then I've learned that a lot of people don't know like the difference between dill seed and dill weed and how to deal with the plant, which maybe I'll talk about that another day. But if you let your dill grow, you have this stuff, right? This is dill weed. And I like both. I like the seed and the weed. So this is dill weed. Now, if you let your plant keep growing, it'll flower. You don't want to pick the flowers like most herbs. So a lot of people know that like if your mint and your basil, your cilantro start to flower, you have to cut those off, right? Otherwise the plant like bolts and then it'll quit growing. Dill is not like that. So once it flowers, you just let it go and the flowers will turn into seeds like this. And these are actually not even fully seeded. They actually have, you can see the little tiny bud on the end of the seed. But these are fine. As long as they're mostly seed, they're fine. So this is like, if a recipe calls for one dill head, this is one head. One head has like, I don't know, 15, 20 little mini heads on it. And I'll show you what I do with those when I put them in the jar. And then I've got garlic, vinegar, sugar, and then whatever seasoning you guys like. I like to make my pickles spicy. So I'm putting some red pepper, some black peppercorns. I love mustard seed in my pickles. And then I've got like no canning salt left. Hopefully we have enough. And then I'm just making one jar. So, I mean, it's easier if you can make like a bunch of jars at a time. But these are just refrigerator dilly beans, I guess is what I call them. So just doing one jar is fine. We're not going to can them or anything. These are super easy. They just have to sit in the fridge for a couple days. All right, so I'm going to show you how to make these. I'm trying to figure out where to put my phone. I think if I put it like right here, there, you guys can see. All right, so I'm gonna heat up the vinegar, water, sugar, and salt. I just gotta grab a measuring cup. Okay, so 1 cup of water. And then depending on how vinegary you guys like your pickled stuff, I like mine really vinegary. So I do 1 cup of water and 1 cup of vinegar. Half and half ratio, especially with beans. I feel like they're pretty firm. They're not like cucumbers where they're gonna soak everything up. So I'm just doing 1 cup of water, 1 cup of vinegar. I can post the recipe later too. And then a tablespoon of sugar. We just buy like those big 50-pound bags and I make my husband fill it up. It's in the garage. So 1 tablespoon of sugar and then 1 tablespoon of salt. You can use any salt. I just use my canning salt. I'm hoping we have enough because I'm almost out. There. That's about a tablespoon. Okay. And then I'm going to get that heating up on the stove. So just heat that up until it's dissolved. And I usually get it to the point where it's boiling. Okay, and I already washed my beans. Now inside the jar, I'm really bad at measuring, so I apologize. I don't really measure stuff very well, but I'm gonna throw some peppercorns in. That's probably like half a tablespoon. And then some red pepper flakes, however much you guys like. Like I said, we like ours pretty spicy, and all my kids like them spicy too, so we're gonna throw some of that in there. Mustard seed. Geez, I'm almost out of that too. I'm gonna have to go to the store. Okay, I probably would have put more than that in, but we're out. And then your garlic, I love garlic too, so this is kind of to each their own. I'm gonna put in half a tablespoon of garlic. Okay, and then as far as your dill goes, the dill weed, I just throw that in there. And then these dill heads, make sure you guys can see this, it's kind of hard. I just get them all into a bunch like this. And then if you just break it, they all kind of come off the stem. So I'm gonna throw those in there. And we'll put some on the top too. Next, you're gonna put your green beans in, and I already washed all my beans. So I just kind of throw a big handful in there. And then if you kind of shake the jar to the side, you can kind of squeeze everything else in there. And these have not been blanched or anything, they're just raw. You can blanch them, but I like mine crunchy. So I guess that's just, you know, whatever you prefer. Hopefully I can fit everything in there. I think we're gonna have like just the right amount. Can you guys see? Okay. And then for our peppers, I'm just gonna cut off the tops of them. And then just the very tip. And I'm gonna stuff those in the jar too. Make sure you wash your hands after this, otherwise you're gonna like rub your eyes and you're gonna regret that. Okay. Let's see if I can get these in there a little better. Perfect. Okay. Got all of our beans in our jar. And then I'm just gonna throw one more of these dill heads on top. Perfect. And I'm gonna give my vinegar, salt, sugar, water a stir here. It's almost ready. And you want that to be like boiling when you pour it in the jar. It kind of cooks the beans just a tiny bit, like it kind of does blanch them, and then it gives them really good flavor. So that's almost ready here. I don't know where my funnel went, so I'm just gonna wing it and dump it in the jar. Hopefully I don't make a giant mess. Here, I'll put this towel down, just in case. Okay, it's pretty much boiling, so I'm gonna go ahead and just give it one last stir here. Perfect. Normally, obviously, if you have a funnel, that'd probably be better, but we're gonna do just fine here. We could have used like just a tiny bit more liquid in there. So I'm just gonna top it off with just a tiny bit of vinegar, just to make sure everything's covered. And like I said, we like our stuff super vinegary, but if you don't, you could do like 1 cup of water and half a cup of vinegar. But you'd probably have to like double that recipe to make sure you have enough. And then you just throw your lid on. And now remember, this is really hot, so just be careful. And then I just let this sit on the counter until it's completely cooled to like room temperature. And then we'll throw it in the fridge. And then it needs to sit in the fridge for a couple days. Look how pretty those purple green beans are. So yeah, let it sit in the fridge for a couple days. And then you can enjoy. Let me know if you have any questions. These lids do pop down after they're cooled, but they're not, this isn't canned, so it's not safe to sit in the cupboard. You have to put it in the refrigerator. And then you can leave them in the fridge for up to a month. they're good for. So let me know if you have any questions. See you later.